If 2020 has made you reassess your life and you found that your job no longer fulfills you, you might be thinking about starting your own business. Now, running a business is a great way to have more money, more time, and more freedom than you ever have when you have a job. But it can also be the complete opposite, so it's important that you know whether it's right for you or not. In this short session, I'm going to address some of the questions you might have around this. We'll look at what sort of personality you need to have in order to be successful in business, what type of business you could run, when is the right time to start, some practical steps to get started, and some common mistakes to avoid. This is just a whistle-stop tour, so I can't get into too much depth, but you'll get the gist and you will be able to see if it's right for you to ditch your job and start a business. A quick little bit about me. I used to be an international sales manager in engineering for many years when redundancy and a divorce led me to reassess my life, and I decided I wanted to do something else. I took 2 years out, lived in Mexico for a while to find myself, and when I came across business coaching, I instantly knew it was the right thing for me to do, as it combined my passion for business with my desire to help people. I trained at the coaching academy, and in 2008 I started In It Out and Coaching. Since then, I've helped hundreds of people change their careers, start businesses, and help them grow those businesses. I'm delighted to share my experience with you to help you make the right decision for you. So let's look at the personality aspect first. Anyone can start a business, especially in this day and age. But to be successful at it, it's good to look at the characteristics that super successful business owners have. It's always good to learn from people who've been there and done that and are good at what you'd like to do. So the first thing you have to do is you have to believe in yourself and your business idea. Basically, if you don't believe in it, nobody else will. So if you're lacking confidence or you're not sure about things, get some help around this, because this is absolutely essential. You also have to know your strengths and weaknesses. Any good business owner knows what they're good at and essentially what they're not good at, so that they know what they have to delegate or outsource. One way to find this out is doing a DISC profile, which is something that I work with a lot. But you could just, ask your friends and family or colleagues, do other assessments, but have a good think about and know what is it that you're really good at and what are you maybe not so good at. You have to be willing to take risks and you have to be open to new ideas. If you're the kind of person who just likes everything safe and secure and never wants to change anything, you are not going to be successful in business. You have to be able to just go for stuff, take action, change your mind. This is really important. When something new comes along, rather than going, oh, I don't like that, you want to be open to it and say, right, how can I make this work? And that goes together with don't be afraid to fail. And be resilient. Resilience is basically coming back from failure or disappointment. It's okay to fail. Again, super successful business owners have probably failed more than anybody else. And the difference with people who are not successful is that they haven't let this failure stop them. It's just spurred them on. They've learned from it and they'll do something else. They do something different next time, but they keep going. You also have to be eager to keep on learning. This is together with that, be willing to take risk and open to new ideas. Successful business owners are always learning, whether that's they're reading a lot or they're attending training events or they have people that they learn from individually, but they're always learning new things. They stay up to date with all the stuff that's happening in their market, in their industry, in the world in general. And finally, you have to know when to get help. This goes back to knowing those strengths and weaknesses. When you know them, you'll know when you need to get help. Successful business owners always have help. They never do it on their own, whether that's from a business coach such as myself, or a mentor, or a mastermind group, or a business partner, or anywhere else. They will get help where they need it, and they're not afraid to ask for it. They don't see it as a weakness. They know it's a strength to realize, do you know what, I'm not great at this. Let's get somebody in who knows exactly what they're talking about. When's the right time to start? To be honest, anytime. Anytime's the right time to start. You may think that now everything is so insecure and you don't know where the economy is going to go, etc. And you would be right. But that is no reason not to start a business. Some of the most successful businesses have started in a recession. There's loads of them, but here are just two. A recent one, Airbnb, which started in the financial crisis time. But Disney, for example, was started in 1929, just after the massive crash. So don't let the fact that we're in difficult times now put you off. In fact, it can be a really good time to do it. There's actually also loads of new possibilities now with people much more open to having things online. So, having your eye on the ball and knowing what's going to be relevant now is going to be really, really useful. But, and it's a big but, there are two important things that you have to have and that you have to do. First of all, you need to have sufficient funds. You do need a buffer. It takes a while to make a business successful. Yes, you can get lucky, but whenever you see any news of an overnight success, it probably means 6 years hard slog beforehand. So don't think that it's an easy, quick way to make lots of money. Building a successful business takes time, and to make it successful, the more money you have, the better. Unfortunately, that's how it goes. But at the very least, you want to make sure you can cover, say, at least 6 months to a year, maybe with very little or no income. So it might mean that you have to save up a little bit longer or get loans or funding, and there's lots of ways of getting funding, but make sure you have sufficient funds. Don't start a business with no money in the pot. You also have to do market research. You can't just think about something that you might like. I mean, that's a good start. That's how you will start. But once you've found something you think, oh, this might be a real gap in the market, you have to do some market research. Again, because as I said, it does take time and money to build a successful business. But if you just are gung-ho about it and just start anything without doing any market research to see if there's actually a demand for what you're doing or what you're planning to do, then it's a very quick way to lose a lot of money. And now there's something really nice you can do. I mean, you can do that anytime, but now even more so. I call it try before you buy. And that is, you could start your business small whilst you're still working. So you may be furloughed, you may be working part-time. People are in all sorts of interesting situations at the moment. So it's a really good time to kind of say, right, maybe I'll start those 1 or 2 days a week that I've got to, start my business, see if it works. You'll get a feel for it soon enough. A, whether you like it, and B, whether it's going to be successful. And then you can always expand it when it's successful. So I really like that as a principle, and I think it's a good way to get started. Now let's have a look at the type of business you could run, because there are lots of different ones. You could have physical products and a physical shop, or you could have physical products and an online shop. But obviously, you could make products or buy products. There's lots of things that you can do with physical products. Or you could sell services, anything consultancy wise or bookkeeping, coaching as a service, anything like that. So anything where you are sharing your knowledge and expertise and other people might need it is a great way to have a service business. Now, a franchise is a really good idea if you are not so clear on maybe on an original idea. By the way, you don't need an original idea to run a business. You just need to do it your way. So I've got to say that, but it's really important. So you don't have to be doing something that isn't there yet. In fact, that's probably harder. But a franchise is really good if maybe you're not so sure about running a business all by yourself, starting it from scratch. Because with a franchise, you get hopefully the support and knowledge from the franchise owner. Very often you get help with marketing. It's already an established brand, ideally. So that's a great way to get started. There's pros and cons to everything, and I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but that's another option. You could do multi-level marketing. You have to be a bit careful which ones you do, but there are lots of businesses out there that are really great at that. Things like Arbonne, Utility Warehouse, FM, there's lots of different ones. So that might be the way for you. Again, you will get a lot of support. They very often offer a lot of coaching as well. So if you're not too sure about doing something all by yourself, this might be a great place to start. And this is perfect to start alongside your current job. So you can just see if you like it, see what's good, what's bad, and then decide if it's for you or not. You could have something that's online only, so there can be apps and stuff if you're technical, or just membership sites, all sorts of things. And finally, you can sell info products. And that's basically where you are selling your knowledge of anything, and you'll be surprised. It's a really golden ticket, really, because you create it once, and then yes, you need to market it, but anytime somebody buys it, it's just money in your pocket. So this is just a couple of ideas, and of course it entirely depends on your personality, what you like, what you want to do, which one of these you would do. Now let's look at a couple of practical steps to get started. So you've decided it's right for you, you feel you've got the right personality, you've got some support in place, and you want to know, right, where do I start? Now there's obviously loads of things, and I just wanted to give a quick overview of just quickly starting, really. Decide on the name. Pick something. Don't be too complicated about it. If you're doing anything personal, so whether it's services or anything that is around you, use your own name. People buy from people, and you're not going to be Coca-Cola or Kit Kat, so nobody's going to buy from the brand, certainly not in the beginning. So don't spend too much time on it. Pick something, and if you grow massively, you can always change at some point. The next thing is design your brand. Don't go complicated on this either. You could just do it initially. You can use things like Canva, Fiverr and Upwork. So Fiverr and Upwork is where other people can design it for you. In Canva you can do it very easily yourself. And my tip is pick 3 colors that you like that go together. And the reason why it's 3 is that when you will be doing things, you will always need a couple of colors to choose from. So if you only have 1 or 2, you're limiting yourself. So pick 3. They don't have to all be in your logo, but pick 3 and decide on that brand from the start, because it is really good if you can consistently keep it through. But you don't have to spend thousands with designers. I'm sorry, designers, if there are any designers listening to this. That can come later when you're successful and you've got some money. You say, right, let's have a proper rebrand. Get a business bank account. You can obviously go to your existing bank, but there's all these lovely what I call interrupter banks, like Starling and Monzo, for example, where you can set up an account really quickly. Because you want to be able to split your income from your personal bank account. So get started properly and just set up a business bank account. You want to get a web presence. And I've very specifically not put there get a website, because a website is not necessarily the only thing you need. A website can be something that you can get, but you could also just start off with a Facebook page or an Instagram account. You can go through LinkedIn. If you're doing any sort of shop, if you're selling any sort of physical products, you can go on Amazon or eBay or Etsy, for example. So just make sure you are on the web somewhere. This is critical nowadays, regardless of what you do, and pick the right thing. So get some advice around what you would need for your business. Get some printed material if needed. Again, right now, even if you post stuff to people, in their homes, they're there. If you do business to business, it's difficult. People are just not in their offices. Business cards, same thing. If nobody's physical networking, you don't need that. But you might want a flyer, and again, depending on your business, for example, if you're starting up as a decorator or plumber or something like that, flyers still really work. So if you need to get some printed material, which by the way you can very easily design yourself in something like Canva. So again, it doesn't need to be complicated. Have a little fiddle around and see what you can come up with. Then you want to start networking. Currently, obviously, that is mainly online, but in person as soon as possible. I've said before, people buy from people, so people need to know about you. You need to start networking and marketing, really. But what's really important is that you want to focus on getting your first sale as soon as possible. There's no point spending days and weeks on the brand and your website and whatnot if you're not getting any sales. Here is the sort of bad news. If you want to run your own business, unless you have a franchise or a multi-level marketing one, you are going to, well, and even then, you are going to have to be good at sales. Running a business is basically getting good at sales. Eventually, you might be able to outsource it, but certainly in the beginning, you need that ability to make a sale. So focus on that. Try not to get too sidetracked by all the little nitty-gritty stuff. Just make sure you get that first sale. And then this is also really important, get the right support. Like I said before, people don't do it on their own, so get a business coach, get a mentor, join a mastermind group, anything like that. If you have a business partner, great, but don't do it all by yourself, especially if you've never done it before. People that have run loads of businesses might be able to do it by themselves, but actually they know not to, so get the right support is absolutely crucial. And that leads me really nicely into sort of the mistakes to avoid. There are obviously lots of things that can go wrong, but I just want to highlight 4 of them. The first one is spending too long on getting ready. So you know what I just said about getting that sale? It's like there's no point, thinking too much about everything having to be perfect and everything having to be ready. Just get someone interested, get someone who wants to buy from you, and then you can, learn along the way. This is again to do with a successful business owner personality, somebody who takes action, who just goes for it, and doesn't just sit too long thinking and analyzing stuff. Another big mistake is not knowing your numbers. You have to get good at knowing how much you need to turn over to make the kind of salary or money that you want, the kind of profit. And if you don't know how to do this, again, this is where you get help. You don't have to be good at all of this yourself, but you have to realize that it's absolutely essential. Credit control is another one of those where people, they've got the business, they've sent out the invoice, then they don't get paid and they don't chase it up. So knowing your numbers and knowing how all of that works is really important. So get a good accountant or a financial director. You can get those interim and all sorts of stuff, or people who can help you with that if you're not good at it yourself. Another mistake is not being prepared for growth. So you may, if you want to grow your business, so again, you could decide that you just want a lifestyle business, that you just only ever want to work for yourself on your own. You don't want staff and you don't want to grow too big. But lots of people obviously want to grow their business, but you have to be prepared for that. So although you're starting on your own, possibly, you want to put everything in place as if you already have a big company. So you want to put processes and systems in place for when you do get hundreds or thousands of customers. You may only have 3 now, you could do everything manually, but you want to really be ready for growth. You want to think about, well, what would happen if I got that big order from Sainsbury's, for example? Could I produce everything? Could I send it out? How is all that going to work? You don't have to think, again, don't spend too long getting ready, but you want to think this through, that you kind of go, so as soon as we hit this, that's when, we'll take on a premises or take on people or whatever. So just think about what would happen if you are going to be mega successful. And the other thing you don't want to do is give up too soon. It is hard. Anybody who says to you that it's easy to start a business is lying. They're just trying to sell you something. It's not true. It is hard. There's lots of ups and downs, and it's easy to say that, lots of ups and downs, But when you're in one of those downs, when you've just lost a really big customer, or you've worked really hard on a contract and it falls through on some technicality or some change in the law, it's very hard to get back from that. That's why you need that resilience. You need that ability to say, okay, that went wrong. What can I learn from it? What can I do better next time? And now let's just move on. You do need to know when to stop flogging a dead horse. But that's another topic. But most of the time, people give up too soon. They give up after 1, 2, or 3 failures, whereas in reality, you need 20 failures or 50 before you should give up. Right, that's it for now. I know that it was a very quick overview of a big topic, and you might have even more questions now than you had before. So I've got a couple of options for you to get more information and help. If you go to my website, there's lots of information on the blogs. I've got all sorts of things, from tips on networking to how to make more profit to how to choose what you want to do, all sorts of things. So feel free, go to the blog and read through, and you will get a lot of information already. You can also arrange a free session with me. So it's always good to speak to someone, especially somebody like me who has got lots of experience of talking to people who are exactly where you are, i.e., they're thinking about it, maybe not sure what to do, or not sure exactly where to start. So you can have a free half-an-hour session with me, no obligation, where we can chat through what your options look like and how you might proceed. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm always sharing lots of tips and guides and all sorts of things on helping you be successful in business. Or you could join my business breakthrough group. Obviously, you could get one-to-one coaching from me as well if you want. That's obviously always a possibility. But I also have a group called Business Breakthrough, which you can find if you go to businessbreakthrough.uk. And that's where we get together once a month. Again, I'm talking about that support. We get together once a month, and you get accountability, training, support and advice from fellow business owners, and it just helps you keep going when things are tough. So those are some various options. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you found this useful already. I want to leave you with this final quote from myself. If you're not willing to take the first step, you'll never take the next steps. So just take it step by step. Take that first step, possibly book a session with me, or look at some more information. Think about what sort of business you can do some research. Whatever you do, I hope that you will take all the steps needed to start and run a successful business, and that would make me very happy, because I believe that you deserve nothing less than happiness and success.